Hey guys, this is Fate over at Diablo3StrategyGuide.com, and today I'm going to bring you a talk on how basically what the most efficient ways are to really maximize your Magic Find potential. And in almost all scenarios, it's almost never worth it to sacrifice efficiency for Magic Find. And so I would really highly recommend that you upgrade incrementally and buy kind of slightly higher gear choices rather than kind of going instantly for that 250% MF. Okay, so there are definitely some pieces that you can get Magic Find from that are much easier too. And so I'm going to talk about what these are and why you should do it. Okay, so the first two, and this is kind of the first tier of Magic Find, and these are the first places that you should really look to get MF, are your follower and your helm. So the follower, straightforward enough. You get 20% Magic Find from your follower, so give him some rings and amulets. They don't have to be particularly good, but they should have pretty reasonable MF. If you're using the Scoundrel, get him if you're using the Templar rather, get him a shield that can provide you an additional 20% MF. So if you put all these things together, you could probably get a good 10 to 15% MF straight from your follower, without sacrificing any damage or EHP stats of your own. The next place is the Helm. So the Helm is really important because you can get a socket in it and you can put a topaz in. And so this alone can give you 31% MF. But where the real money is at is getting the dual find, where you have 20% MF in addition to a socket, giving your Helm up to 51% Magic Find. Very significant, and that's by far the most Magic Find you could get from a single piece of gear. And even if you just do that to your helm, that change is so significant that I'd highly recommend it. Okay, so the next four pieces of armor are kind of other places that are good to really get your Magic Find from quickly. And the reason being is that these pieces can't roll things like attack speed, crit chance, or crit damage. In other words, metrics that will kind of help you to get more DPS. Instead, these pieces can basically roll your primary stat, vitality, maybe life percentage, and all resist, and if you're a monk, your specific resistance. But other than that, these pieces can't provide that crit chance. So these are great to get Magic Find from. And each of these can roll up to 20%. And I'd really recommend looking between 12 to 16% if you want to get the best bang for your buck. If you're going for that really top-end 20% gear, I find that it tends not to be worth the money, assuming that you're working on a reasonable budget. Okay, so the next piece of gear that you can look at is the Amulet. And the Amulet is very tricky. First of all, it's because it can provide up to 40% Magic Find. That's huge. The problem is the Amulet is kind of one of the best places to find a lot of the other damage metrics, such as crit chance and crit damage. Crit damage in particular, it can roll up to 65% crit damage, which is significantly higher than everything except your weapon. So it's all about trade-offs. If you're not sacrificing significant efficiency to get that really high roll MF on your Amulet, you absolutely should. But it's kind of one of the trickiest pieces to actually get MF on without sacrificing that. So the next three pieces are your offhand, your boots, and your bracers. And so these are a little bit worse to get MF on than these kind of second tier items, because these can have pretty significant helping DPS metrics. For example, offhand, such as the Mojo or the Source, for the Witch Doctor and Wizard respectively, can roll up to 8.5% crit damage, or crit chance rather. And so that really improves your overall DPS. And so you kind of have to search for additional affixes for those offhands. Boots in particular, you can also roll move speed, making it a little bit harder to optimize for rather than the 4 armor pieces that we covered back there. And bracers can roll crit chance, making it slightly more difficult to really get that extra Magic Find. the last two pieces that you should be going for Magic Find are your rings and your clubs. And this is because, similar to the Amulet, these can roll a number of different really helpful damage metrics. The gloves can roll up to 10% crit chance, which is huge, in addition to crit damage and attack speed. So really getting, kind of balancing out those damage metrics with your Magic Find is really, really tricky. And because the max for gloves is only 20% and rings is even lower than that, it becomes pretty clear that the easiest way to really optimize your Magic Find is through these other pieces. Alright, so I hope you guys learned something about kind of building your character for Magic Find. Certainly the optimal way is to build for the most Magic Find you can, but most people are working under a budget, so hopefully this really helps to teach you how to prioritize where you should really be looking for the most Magic Find for your buck. So please check us out at Diablo3strategyguide.com, where we have both great free and premium content for you guys. Thank you.